Hello and welcome to the final video of 2025. It seems crazy to say the words 2025. It's been a weird year here for the channel. I'll be 100% honest. I've fallen back a lot on relying on the podcast to kind of supplement video content this year, and that a lot of that has to do with just things going on behind the scenes. I have personal things going on behind the scenes. I've had some health issues going on behind the scenes. I have just a lot of things that have gone on behind the scenes that have had a major impact on the channel this year. One of the biggest things, some of my health issues cropped up in October, which basically derailed the entirety of doing any kind of Horror Fest this year. I think I did one stream. And I apologize for that because I was really, really looking forward to doing it proper this year. For those that don't know on the channel, I have a trifecta of health issues right now. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I have talked about it briefly, maybe on the podcast, but I have sleep apnea, which is now being treated with a CPAP machine and everything, which is awesome, which has heavily improved my day to day. I'll say that. I also am type 2 diabetic. I've been diagnosed diabetic for about 2 years. But I feel like I'm really starting to turn a corner with making that better right now. And I think the first step for me was getting to take care of this sleep apnea thing, which in return is helping me kind of take better control of the diabetes. And then the third is I have some high blood pressure issues. So all of these are contributors. Like all three of these things contribute to the same thing. And so yeah, I'm on better medication for these problems. I have a CPAP machine, and I'm doing much better health-wise than I was through a majority of this year. I didn't even get onto that machine until September because I basically spent the summer getting the sleep studies done and getting the results of that and doing all that, going through insurance, all of that fun stuff to get to the point of actually having the machine. But now I've been on the machine for almost 4 months. It'll be 4 months at the beginning of January, and it's been a night and day difference. I'm not tired all the time, which has been the primary contributor of you guys seeing less and less videos on this channel, because it's just I haven't been able to keep up with any kind of output because of that, and then also because of some other personal issues going on, and also because just all of that kind of snowballed into a big thing. So I didn't mean for the end of the year video to be an apology video, but that's part of it. The other thing, and I'll briefly address it here. And if anybody watched the last podcast episode for the year, and to clarify that, so that was the final podcast episode of 2025. We'll be back early 2026 to continue the podcast. Over the break here, between Christmas and New Year's, we will have a mini episode that's going to go over our Game of the Year stuff. That is not going to replace the Game of the Year videos that I do on the channel. As you guys know, in years past, I'm going to continue this tradition. I don't start posting those videos until February. And that is just to give me an extra month to kind of catch up. Okay, what are the things that I'd like to get to and like to spend time with before I make these decisions? And one of the biggest ones being Clair Obscur. I'm still halfway through that game, and I need to sit down and finish it, because I do think that once I finish that game, that's going to heavily impact what my Game of the Year is versus what it currently is. I will also say, my Game of the Year list for the podcast is probably going to be different than the Game of the Year video that I do for the channel. So just keep that in mind. The other really, really big thing that happened that just kind of derailed things this month, I had getting, some of these health things taken care of throughout the month, ER trip, all that fun stuff, but also, and this will probably explain my very low key demeanor on the last episode of the podcast this year, but that very same day, unfortunately, my beloved cat, Sifa, she has been struggling recently, and she succumbed to cancer, and we had to make a decision that same day that we recorded the podcast, my fiance and I, we had sat down, we had made a decision that, all right, this weekend we're probably going to have to go, and this is going to have to be taken care of. And this was after we had started. We actually had started her on chemo and everything. We had like a hope that, she was going to get a little bit more time, but her health just unfortunately just really, really declined within those couple days from having that first dose of chemo. And it became a point that I don't want to continue it anymore. And so we had already made that decision before we recorded that episode of the podcast that night, that weekend we were probably going to have to deal with this. And unfortunately, within the same weekend, it declined enough that we had to go right then and there and deal with that. So unfortunately, it's not something and for me, it's even harder because this is now 2 Christmases in a row that have been marred with a pet death. Last year, our previous dog Ace passed. We had to take care of that during the Christmas holiday season as well. And I'll be honest, it took a toll on my mental health this year. Like, we didn't even put up a Christmas tree. Like, I have Amazon boxes and stuff that I have to wrap here, but at our house, we didn't even put up a Christmas tree. Like, we're going to be going over to, family's house. They'll have all that. We'll exchange gifts and stuff. But I just, with everything that happened, by the time we got to this past weekend, we talked about it. I was like, I don't even want to do this. Like, I don't even feel like jolly at all, this year. So it's been a very somber Christmas season here, but, otherwise I'm doing much better, especially health wise, getting medications and stuff adjusted. And, I'm hoping for a better year in 2026. I really am. 2025 was not a great year. It really wasn't. And it was filled with me for a lot of self-reflection and some decisions I needed to make for myself and what I want to do. I'll be 100% honest. There was a brief period of time where I was considering renaming the channel just to the podcast name and being done with it, because I didn't have that spark. I didn't have that energy to put into making video content outside of doing the podcast and making videos out of that. But I'm in a much better place now, and 2026 will be a better year all around. I'm also in the process of, with health stuff. This will be the end of my health stuff because I don't want to bore people with that, but also the process of health stuff. I'm in the process of losing weight. It's not like you can really tell here in this video, but I have already lost 16 pounds with the help of some medication, but it is something I needed to do for my health in order to improve some of these things. And I'm already seeing the effects of that. I'm already seeing the effects of, with type 2 diabetes, like my blood sugar is balanced a lot better than it was previously. It's also helping blood pressure issues and all of that stuff. So I'm in a better place now than I was a couple months ago, and even a couple weeks ago specifically. So things are looking up and looking better on the channel, and I'm gonna have more video content in 2026. Not gonna share too many details of that just yet, but I want to get back to kind of the basics with the channel. I still want to talk about new and upcoming games and stuff, but I also think that gaming is changing right now, and it's shifting because of the price hikes and tariffs, not to get political, and things that are making gaming less accessible for people. I think a lot of people, because of that, are turning to go back to classic games or games that have been out for a few years and stuff, and revisiting things that are already there, revisiting games that are in their massive libraries, be it on PSN, on Xbox, or on Steam, or even, Nintendo, if that's your deal. So I think that we're seeing gaming kind of hit this like stagnant place right now, outside of a few exceptions. I mean, obviously Clair Obscur was huge. Hollow Knight, Silksong was huge this year. Like there were certain tentpole games that came out, but 2025 I don't feel like overall was like this massive year for gaming. I just think there were some real big tentpole games. So I am still going to cover and review games on the channel. I'm not changing that, but I am going to be changing up some other things with the channel and visiting some different topics, and we'll share more of that at the beginning of next year when I do come back with regular content on the channel beginning of February next year, I will start with Game of the Year stuff. It's going to be just like it is every other year. I'm going to have different categories, and I'll list off my top favorite games of the year, including what I consider the game of the year for me personally. So look forward to that in February. Otherwise, podcast will be going uninterrupted. Like I said, we're going to have that game of the year stuff up between Christmas and New Year's, and then we'll be back early January with more editions of the podcast. So that part of the channel isn't going to change, but my video content, it will resume beginning of February, and I'll be doing the Game of the Year stuff, which I'm looking forward to this year. I'm looking forward to sitting down. There's a couple things also besides finishing Clair Obscur that I want to take a look at before I, really start building and figuring out and tinkering with that top 10 list. So, but as always, I want to thank people for, watching my videos, for checking out the channel. As always, I've been doing this. It's crazy for me to say that going into 2026 will be 9 years since I've been doing this, and it's a hobby. I don't do this for advertising. I don't do this for money. It's not my job. It's always just been a hobby of mine, and I continue to do that, and I continue to have fun doing it. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for even though I don't think it was a great year, thank you for a great year of watching my content, and look forward to new content in 2026. Thank you for watching.